Hello, today I'm going to show you how I change a set of strut bearings in a typical ski boat. Strut bearings are a wear item. They do wear. They can last anywhere from 5 to 10 years, up to 1,000 hours. A lot of that depends on the type of water you run in. But today we're going to show you the basics, how really anyone can change one of these. They're not that difficult to do. Shown are the basic tools that I use here in the shop. You can do this with a hand hacksaw instead of a sawzall. Not shown is a can of WD-40 or whatever penetrating oil you like to use. On the sawzall, you want to use a 8-inch long or a long metal cutting blade, preferably a new one. It makes life a little bit easier. But here we go. We're going to get started on how we change the strut bearing. In this case, the prop shaft and rudder have been removed for other service. You're going to need to find the two set screws. Now, not all strut barrels have set screws, but find them if it has it and remove them. Once you have the set screws removed, put a little penetrating oil in each of the holes and down the barrel to help everything slide out. Okay, we're going to start by removing the rear bearing first. Place your sawzall in the barrel with the cutting blade edge going up, never down. That's important. Once this is cut through, if it goes through the barrel into the strut, it doesn't do any damage or weaken it. If you go down, it could create a weakness. Once that barrel is cut, you think you're through it. I like to take a flashlight and look to make sure it looks like I'm all the way through before I go ahead and tap it out. From the front of the strut, take your favorite drift pin or center punch and tap the back shell out. It's as simple as that. Okay, the back shell or bearing is out and removed. Now we're going to cut the front bearing shell out. That's why we're using that long sawzall blade. So we can reach up in there and cut the bearing shell. Once the bearing shell, well, at least we think it's cut, take a light, look through there, take a look, see if it looks like it's been cut through. Hopefully it is cut through, and then we can go to the next step and tap it out. Okay, take your drift pin and tap the front bearing shell out. Hopefully it goes nice and smooth like this one did. Here's a picture of what the two bearing shells look like. You can see the cut marks in them. Remember, these bearings are always going to be 2-inch long each. The barrel is probably 5.5 to 6 inches. There's a gap in the barrel between the two strut bearings. With both bearings now removed, you want to clean the inside of the barrel. You can shove a shop rag through there, clean it out good. But you do want to inspect it and look for nasty burrs or bad corrosion. Sometimes you do need to get a wire brush in there, a circular wire brush, and clean them out. Okay, when you get your new strut bearings, one of the tricks that makes the reinstalling very easy is take those new bearings, put them in the freezer for an hour or two, then pack them in a little bit of ice, put them in the cooler, and walk out to the shop to keep them cool. This will help the installation go a lot smoother in most cases. Okay, I like to squirt a little penetrating oil in the barrel. Then you want to reach into your little cooler, find the first bearing, take one of them out of the box, and you want to try to line it up in the front of the strut. Tap it in a little bit if you can get it started. You want to try to get it started by hand if you can. Worst case scenarios, you put a little bit of tapping with a hammer, but that's a worst case scenario. Then I install the installation press. It's a simple threaded rod with fine threads. Thread the nut on there. You're going to make sure the flat washers are in place and snug it up. Try to keep the press tool square and centered in the hole. Snug it up nice and tight. And of course, on here we're going to use an impact driver, but you can use a set of wrenches. That's not a problem. It just takes a little longer. Put your impact wrench or your wrench on the one end of the puller. Secure the other end and pull the trigger. You'll draw the new strut bearing right into the strut for you. And then it's a matter of removing the tool and getting ready to install the aft strut bearing. Grab that out of the box, Center it up. Try to get it started. You may get it in there 1/8 of an inch. That's okay. That's all it needs. Tap what you can. And then get ready to put the press tool back in place. Make sure your washers are in there. Snug it up. I wish my hands could turn that fast in real life. You want to make sure that tool is nice and square, not on an angle. And either put your ratchet or wrench or impact, whatever you're using, and you're going to draw that bearing in all the way till she bottoms out. Next, we'll loosen the tool up and remove the tool. And we're almost finished. Okay, the last thing we have to do is reinstall the 2 stainless steel set screws. You want to snug them up pretty tight. You may want to blow a little air or run a rag through there. You don't want any of the penetrating oil left on that rubber. And that's the reinstallation of and replacing your strut bearings. So I hope you appreciate this and hope I was able to help somebody out there change their bearings. If you like this video and it was helpful, leave a comment and we'll try to create a few more to help you out.